Okay, so this time we're going to add in a login screen to our app, which means the user will need to sign up where they create an account, giving themselves a username and a password, and then to log into the app they have to use an official username and password to get to their first screen. The way we do that is download the login file, and remember it will look a little bit like this to begin with. To open it up, click the little arrow. You may need to click that arrow as well, then click the main storyboard. And here you'll see several screens. The first screen, that's indicated by that little arrow going into it, means that will be the screen that loads. Then we move to our login screen, where the user can either choose to log in using a pre-saved username and password, or sign up for the first time, which will take them to this screen. So we need to copy these screens across to our own project. So here's our app. At the moment it's just a blank app, and we need to copy in the first login screen. So click on that till it goes blue, Command C to copy, Command V to paste it in. Now you'll notice that the image isn't copied across. You need to copy that in and obviously make it your own app logo. Then we need to do the same to the sign up. So Command C, Command V to paste, and then we need to connect it up. So we're going to create a button on our first screen. This will be the screen that they just loads automatically, and we want that to go to our login screen. So we'll just do a show. If they don't have a username and password, they need to go to the sign up. So we'll create a segue from the sign up button. Oops. A segue from the sign up button. So Control drag and show. And then we want to be able to go back to our login screen. So once they sign in, they can log in. You'll also need a view controller for where you want them to actually go. So this will be the beginning of your app, which is protected by your login screen. So this will be, we'll put in a label here. We'll just say that's our first page. So that we want them to get to that point after they log in. We need to copy across the .swift files for our two screens. First of all, the login screen. And remember to copy if needed. And then we also need the first view controller, which is our sign up across to. And we need to make sure that they are connected to our two ones. So click on that, make sure it's gone blue to signify you've selected on that view controller, and make sure that the class is our first view controller class. Click on our login one and make sure that it is linked to our login screen. Then what we need to do is go, if they do get the password and username correct, we want to segue through to our first page. So what we do is we click on the login screen, click on the view controller, control drag from there to here, and that will create a segue which we can refer to. So what we want to do is click on that segue, make sure that goes blue, and then give it an identifier, and we're going to call it first, because that's what we referred to in the code. If we go to the code, if the username is correct, if the password's correct, then perform the segue first. So we need to make sure that that segue is the identifier first with the same capital letters. Then we should have a login screen that will work. Obviously you want to fix up your images, but you can do that yourself. So we'll run that. Okay, so our app, this is the first screen. We click on our button to go to our login screen. If we just type in Glenn and the password 123, and we try login 1234, it doesn't work because we haven't signed up. So we need to go to the sign up screen, create our username, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We create an account, and then we go back, and then with a capital G, 1, 2, 3, 4, log in. It was correct, so it segues into our app, and then you can put in the rest of your features in that app, and that's protected by a login. Now, obviously, this login is just local. If you want it to be more complicated, where it links to a web site so you can compare users on other phones, that's a lot more complicated. But this is just a very basic login screen where the username and password is stored and saved on the phone. So you can't log in using the stored username and password on different phones, but this is a basic model which will give you the premise of how a login screen works.